this video, I'll show you how I transformed this 1940s cabinet. I started this project by cleaning out the drawers and cabinets. I threw away everything I found and vacuumed everything as well. While vacuuming, I could inspect the cabinet and find out what would need repairs, like the door not latching and the base having cracks, for example. Once I was done, I cleaned the entire thing with degreaser and warm water. When the cleaning was all done, I proceeded to start the repairs. First, with one of the legs, that produced a nice clean split along where it was previously glued up, possibly when it was first built. I put some glue where it was needed and held it together with the clamp to dry. While that was drying, I did the same to the face frame that had come loose over time. I sometimes like to clean up the glue with a damp rag, that way I have less cleanup when sanding. I let that sit for a while, then removed all the clamps and inspected my work. After that, I flipped the cabinet over to repair another leg that had split at the seam. I applied glue and tried to figure out a method to clamp it how it was situated, but could not, so I had to flip it over again and use some long pipe clamps to hold the leg together while the glue dried. This was a small fail of many more to come. After that, I removed this back piece so the top and this individual piece could be sanded and painted easier. I removed the doors and hardware. This hardware was pretty neat as I've never seen anything like this before. The knobs had a metal clip that was hammered in place to cover the screws for a cleaner look. My plan for this buffet was to restore it back to its natural wood finish, no paint. So therefore, I tried a new method to me by scraping the old finish off the top of this buffet cabinet. When that was finished, I glued a piece of veneer back to the side of the cabinet that had fallen off the plywood. I held it in place with blue tape while it dried. I had another area that needed repair and I wanted to try and patch it with some solid red oak. I glued up the loose piece and cut a thin piece off the table saw while that dried. But off camera, I failed miserably and decided to just patch the areas with wood putty and I would then paint the cabinet. The sides were badly damaged with loose veneer, so I removed, sanded, and scraped all of it that I could get off before applying wood putty to make it even. While applying compressed air, a big chunk came off as well. While that was drying, I sanded the entire cabinet inside and out. This front leg had a gouge on it, so to repair it, I chiseled out the void to be straight and not jagged. Then I used a thin strip of red oak from earlier and traced it to fit in the void. I cut it to rough size with a box knife and ruler, then set it in place with glue and tape to dry. While that was drying, I went back and sanded the wood filler I applied earlier. I applied a second coat to get it flat, then sanded the top to remove the rest of the old finish, along with hand sanding the rounded edges. I decided to save as much of the wood finish as I could, so I stained the middle sections. I wiped the face frame and legs down with the tack cloth to remove any dust particles, then applied some stain to them. After that was done, I worked on the doors and drawers. I applied some finish remover on them and scraped off the old finish with the metal trowel. Then I cleaned up the finish remover with mineral spirits and steel wool. After that, the entirety of the doors and drawers were sanded down. I cleaned them up with the tack cloth and then applied the same stain as before. To prep for the paint on the sides and top of the cabinet, I taped the legs and face frame down. I would be painting the inside of the cabinet as well, so to get a clean transition, I cut the tape along the face frame with the scrap piece of wood. I wiped it down with the tack cloth once again and sprayed one of my favorite primers, Zinsser 123. While that was drying, I rubbed on a couple coats of water-based sealer to the doors and drawers. Another fail I had was that the previous repair of the wood veneer was still loose in one part, so I placed glue inside and held it down with tape. Also, the wood filler would not match the porous grain of the original plywood, which I believe is oak. So after failing again, I went to Harbor Freight and bought this carving set and went to town on carving out fake grain on the wood putty to help it blend in with the rest of the cabinet. I then hand sanded the needed areas and then sprayed some white spray paint to prime the newly cut areas. Once it had dried, I sprayed this copper color of trim enamel to the cabinet. When that dried, I placed one of the doors to see how well the color and stain complemented each other, and I quickly realized they did not. The colors were too close to each other in the color family, and I did some research and found a better complementary color. I sprayed this new light green color, and after that dried, I removed all the tape. I lightly sanded some paint off that bled through and then wiped on a clear coat to the stained surfaces. And then the top of the cabinet since it would see more use than the rest of the cabinet. I washed the hardware with steel wool and warm water and installed the hardware. After that, one of the doors were not closed, so I opted to score a line with the pencil, cut that angle off with the miter saw, then sand and restain the area before installing it back to the cabinet. After all that work, I was all done. After taking on this long project, failing with clamping the legs, failing to keep the piece to its original wood aesthetic without paint, failing to repair broken veneer with new veneer, trying new methods of furniture restoration, including scraping old finish, using finish remover for the first time, and painting staining a single piece, I am extremely proud of this piece and proud of myself for not giving up and not being afraid to fail. With that being said, I wanted to let you guys know that I recently quit my full-time job to pursue my business dreams. No, it's not to be a full-time YouTuber, at least not yet, but it is to pursue woodworking full-time. After a lot of thought and fear of what would happen without having a steady income or a normal 9-to-5 job, I took the jump in September and couldn't have been happier with what the rest of the year has given me. I am auto detailing full-time as my own boss, which gives me more time to pursue woodworking as a side hustle. I'm proud of myself for not letting fear overcome mine and my family's dreams, and I'm excited to see what the future brings. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Hope you have a great day and hope to see you in future videos. See you later.